Drum roll. All right, I can see myself. We are live. Awesome. Let's wait for a few minutes before people start rolling in. Prop, I'll wait for you to give me a go ahead. Thanks everyone for joining us today. We have it's going to be myself, Ahad, then we have Jin, and later on we have community builders like Null and Plateau also, which is going to just take us through of some of the cool stuff which we can do in Webaverse today. So yeah, I'll just wait for a few minutes for everyone to start rolling in, and then we can start the call. I'll also be switching between the general channel and Discord. So if you have any questions or any conversation happening there, I'll definitely try to address that as well in our stream. Feel free to ask us anything, but we will try to keep this community call within the 1 hour mark. But let's see if it extends. It extends. It will be recorded and it will also be shared on our YouTube. We'll actually create like a curation of our calls based on the regular frequency so that they can be accessed. We understand that like it's not feasible for everyone to attend these calls at the time which we are doing. I mean, we are a global community. It's pretty late for myself as well. It's like 1 a.m. in the morning. So I'm sure that's why we will make sure to record these things so that everyone can just watch it whenever they are or whenever it's convenient for them. All right, I think people are still figuring out that it's on Twitch, etc. Right? We have 76 viewers. Let's wait for this number to hit 100, and then we can start the call. All right. Hello and welcome everyone to the first official community call from Webaverse. I just wanted to first of all, take a moment to thank everyone for our mint. There's a lot of history behind the mint. We were planning for the mint for months, and of course, like the whole market situation changed at that time. And we still decided to go ahead and do the mint. And the reason that we decided with that confidence was because all thanks to the support we were getting from the community. We got a lot of affirmation and confirmation that, hey guys, don't think about the market. Whatever you guys are doing is there's a real need for it, and the market is the market, but go ahead and do the launch and stick to whatever your plans are. For example, our plan was to launch with a 20,000 supply, and there was a very specific reason for it. And there were concerns that okay, the supply might be too big considering the market, and we also purposefully actually wanted to do even for the allowless spots, we wanted to do a mint at some cost. We didn't want to do a free mint because there's actually like a cost associated, and yeah, we just felt that there needs to be some sort of like level of like entry just to show some seriousness. So there were concerns about the supply as well as the mint price, but till the end we were anxious, but we took the leap of faith. We went ahead and we did the job, and um, I'm extremely thankful to all the partners who came for the job, and there were literally like NFT communities, different DAOs, so many people, so many communities, so many individuals, so many like prominent people in terms of like the NFT or the CTE on Twitter as well. Like they came out in support. Really, really thankful to everyone. Um, and at this point in time, I would specifically like to shout out to our partners who have been through uh, thick and thin in making this drop happen. The Schiller team for related to everything related to marketing, um, and like communication, etc. Metadrop team. I think like the Metadrop experience is the best, right? Like I've seen other mints, but the way the mint was conducted, and just the fact that they just offloaded the entire stress and the anxiety of the mint, that was just great. And M3, like M3 has been closely working with us um, for months. Like a lot of the builders, onboarding the builders, as well as like yeah, so that work has been going on with M3. So these three partners, really thankful for them. um, a lot has happened, and it has happened quite fast. So we're still kind of adjusting to the new reality. We're definitely grateful. We feel we're very excited as well, but it's just taking us a while to ramp up before we start executing with full flow. So we have some plans related to airdrops, which we have mentioned before. We just don't want to rush into it because we just want to maintain certain level of high quality, and this is going to be some of our first like products which we will be providing to our holders. So we just want to make sure that we do not compromise on the quality. I can assure you that we are working on this day and night, but we will definitely be 100% sure of everything before we ship anything. um, so that is there on the the future upcoming airdrops. um, in terms of, if you guys remember, there was a community leaderboard on the Metadrop site when the mint was um, being done. And the top three communities which came out to be based on the voting. The first one was Wasis, the second one was Bored Ape, and the third one was CryptoPunks. So today we're going to announce what we are actually going to be doing for the first one, which is the Wasis. And in the next one, we will share more with what we are going to be doing for the second community and the third community. So for the Wasis, we are very happy to announce that soon we will be, drum rolls, we will be actually doing like a whole collection of generative avatars for the entire Wasi collection. Um, so that is something which we have been experimenting with before. So we're going to start off with the Wasis, and if and I mean maybe Jin later today might just hint something as well. So we have been working on that. So once that is done, then this one of our things is like whole generative collection based avatars, and then we'll provide that to the rest of the community as well, so that everyone in the community can go ahead and start making the generative avatar collections. So that is there on some of the news. Now, related to Upstreet, I just wanted to share a bit of high level view of where we are. I mentioned it, sometime that we have been in open alpha since January of 21, And at this point in time, all the features which we want for our version 1, they are coming in. I think all of them are there, almost all of them. And right now the team is very much focused on working on things like bug fixing, optimization, scalability, achieving the right frames per second which we are looking for our target benchmark hardware. That is what we are focused on right now in terms of the tech. There is another part of um, Upstreet, which is basically the story, which is what we are building together. And we have the ambition here is that we are actually going to be building a community built game, right? Like which all of us will have a certain level of contribution and participation in. Um, and for that, we have some plans. But we just signed. And actually like a very prolific comic writer, DC, Marvel, actually wrote some of the comics which won Oscar as well. So we just signed them, and they're going to be working with the community in writing the community lore for Upstreet, which is going to involve the stories of like different communities, different creators, all interweaving with the main lore of Upstreet. So we will have kind of like, and we have some plans of like how to ensure like participation from, everyone in there. And that's why, we see that in some way, shape, or form, different groups will emerge. These groups could be NFT communities, or like even within the NFT communities, there could be like micro groups, or just like individuals, creators working together, right? And contributing to the storyline. So soon you will see some um, movement in our Discord on the token gated side of how we can start building this lore collectively with the great awesome writers who are coming in to just guide us with the process of doing this community built lore. Yeah, so that is all I wanted to share on our side. In terms of Upstreet, what I wanted to share with for season 1, our focus is going to be very much on um, making sure that like large as many people as possible are able to build dope experiences within Upstreet, right? On their parcels of land. And for that we have plans which is going to ensure that it doesn't mean that you need to be a builder. We know that many of our holders are going to be like passive holders. So how can we create an environment in which dope experiences can be built on all of these parcels, even if uh, like the parcel owners are like not active builders. So we have some sort of like ideas on how we want to do it to facilitate it, basically like group formation within the community, so that a couple of people can come in together. Some of them could be builders, some of them could be parcel holders, some of them could have been contributing to the stories or the concept art or the 3D model, but how people work in cohesion to make sure that we have as many rich experiences as possible on each parcel of land. um, so yeah, those are the things which we'll be working on. But as I said, like the first like the primary focus of on the season is going to be to make sure that we are able to create as many dope experiences as possible. And for that, we will be doing many community onboarding sessions. And we'll be like inviting passive holders as well, so that they can, and we'll have some sort of like a community fund, which we can use to like fund development for like passive holders and like incentivizing builders to build on that. So some plans which we'll be sharing on that. Um, but yeah, without further like I don't think I have anything else to add at this point in time. So over to you, Jen.
Hey, let's see. Am I live? I'm just making sure that the Twitch can see me and my screen. There we go. Yeah, we're good. Hi everyone. So basically, I'm doing a lot of work helping out with avatar collections and making them interoperable. What you're looking at here is a Webaverse scene. Collabed with a friend who makes amazing worlds in Blender and VRChat. Brought it into Webaverse. You can check it out over here. And I've got a Bored Ape wearing MetaLoot. So we're working on a way to basically all of Loot, if y'all are familiar with that metadata project, has been 3D modeled, and you'll be able to create, equip it to your own custom avatars. And also been working on making examples for pets. As you can kind of see, like I got some documentation here, but this is going to be a group effort. I'm starting with a lot of CCO type stuff. So all the examples that we're creating will be able to be remixable. So because Loot is, a very CCO decentralized project, this is a kind of a starter kit for wearables and providing kind of examples that you can mod and replace with your own wearables and whatnot. Yes, synthetic Loot will also be supported. So you'll be able to basically, when it comes to acquiring your bag, you'll also be able to download your synthetic Loot as well, which is pretty cool because every single wallet for Ethereum has a synthetic Loot bag. So it is very inclusive. And we've already let me drag and drop some pictures over here. So we've got kind of it already reading from the smart contract and working on a minting experience where you connect your wallet and these doors open up on a 3D page, and it's a magical reveal experience. This is all work in progress type stuff. A lot's going to change, but y'all are going to be thrilled when you see it. For any community that wants to kind of make 3D like interoperable avatars, we have an avatar interop group at M3 that meets weekly. And we've been doing so for the past 6 months here. All of our past events are open source. So you can catch up with notes on everything. We cover NPCs, and we want to make things interoperable. When you build for Webaverse, you're making stuff that can work basically everywhere because it's all based on open standard file formats, right? So, you can check out our calendar. Our current projects, we're working on some avatar builders as well. So you can kind of think of it as kind of like Ready Player Me, but open source. And that's where you could also equip MetaLoot and other UGC type wearables to your avatars. And here's like a look at that, how it looks. So I'm stoked for that because, the concept of identity and custom avatars, I think, is so important to the open metaverse. And, a lot of things that people are seeing right now, like coming out of big metaverse, just kind of feel so restrictive and bland. And I want to see more and bland. And creativity from the community, and other things aren't moddable, because they're closed source, and they don't come with licensing that's allows for commercial use cases. Like right there, allows for commercial license. What they're doing, but we need to create things that are interoperable, like with VRM file format, and things that people truly own, and that they have the rights to. There's a voice echo.
Everyone else is on mute, Jen.
Yeah, I'm not hearing an echo. Okay, it's good. Okay, cool. So here's like a look. Boombox that kind of shared this. We also have some like randomizers in the progress. So, I mean, think about this. Maybe you have extra bags for loot or something. Not everything is going to be your avatar per se. Some things will be your pets. Some things will be your companions. And some things will be maybe mobs and NPCs in your virtual world. And the same file format can have many different use cases. And we're just working on creating the templates for people to start building with. And it's pretty exciting because the top two here for the community leaderboard is Yuga Labs and NFTs like Bored Apes and Punks. And, they got a lot going on with Other Side. And Other Side is also working along similar open standards like GLTF and scripting, like using JavaScript as well. So it seems like we're headed towards a path where we're going to eventually want to align and collaborate on interoperability. So that's pretty exciting. And I want to get the community involved in how we could really make this open source project, build it together and create a positive feedback loop within such, because Webaverse has been building in the open since day one, truly open. People can fork the project and whatnot, but I want to incentivize this feedback loop so that we can solve some of the fundamental issues open source has. And so I've just been working on a plan where basically if community builders can help out with the documentation, examples, bug reports, and we'll have like a community suggestions board that can also have bounties attached to them and community grants. And been using dwork for many months now. I've got a couple of years of experience contributing to DAOs like MetaFactory, and want to take all that kind of knowledge and experience and basically expand it to more open source type projects. And so I'll cover this in a later. I've already recorded a presentation on this, and I can share within the community. But this is a way that we could basically earn tokens while co-creating this open source project and cool content, and really help onboard more builders as well. So keep an eye out for that. I will probably post it on my site, XRDevlog. And I hosted a recent workshop on creating avatars. So I'll post the link, and I think it should work in Twitch. I shared it in Twitch. And it covers making VRM avatars from scratch, converting VR chat avatars to VRM, testing in Webaverse, and the avatar builders. So feel free to check that out. We host workshops all related to avatars, which goes pretty deep. It's not just avatars per se. It's also wearables. It's also pets, vehicles, all sorts of things. Like I've got this guy over here, and let me go over to my other world and show you some other examples of avatar related things. So you can see here, there's a lot of different NPC examples here, and they're all using the same avatar file format. So these 3D avatars aren't just going to be, your main character. They could be your companions, and they could follow you around in the world. You could talk to them. And wearables also, it's not just like gear and weapons. It could also mean vehicles as well. So I got to work on this one. I just got to kind of rotate it, but it looks kind of cool for a photo shoot. And yeah, check this out. Double jump. All these animations are in the public folder for Webaverse. So if interested in animation and creating custom animations and whatnot, we need to create some new guides for such, and that's kind of also part of the plan to work on. And so people can create really cool virtual productions and cutscenes and cinematic content as well. So, and I think that's a whole part of building a game. Games are transcending one medium. It's transmedia. It's gaming. It's movies. It's comics. All sorts of stuff. But when you create a 3D avatar, you could get a whole lot more mileage out of things. Like, I love showing this. It's the avatar spriter, and when you convert your avatar to like a 2D sprite sheet, then you could use it in some of the other platforms that are more flat, but also this helps with optimizing the scene. So you can have a high concurrent user count and also people on lower end computing hardware and internet speeds could get good performance out of it. So there's just so much you can do when you gracefully degrade from 3D to other forms and representations. And if any community is interested in avatar interoperability related questions, hit me up, DankVR on Twitter. I'll be on Discord as well, and the Avatar Interop group. This is where we, this is our hackerspace where we build and meet up weekly on all related things, and kind of bringing all these characters to life in a shared universe built on open standards.
Awesome. Thanks, Jen. I think you shared a bit too much, but I'm sure everyone enjoyed that. Um, in the next half, we actually just want to showcase that all of these things. We have built Webaverse with the core idea that everyone should be able to build their immersive stories. Everyone should be able to build their fantasy worlds, and that is the overall vision, right? Like the vision is that the metaverse should be a place of our collective imagination. Um, and for that, in the first few community calls, we just want to showcase to you that even though we are still like early in our journey, it is already super easy to build lots of cool stuff within Webaverse, which is what some of our community builders are going to showcase later on. So Jen, whenever you are ready, feel free to pass the torch to Null to take over, and then Null can guide us through.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Cheers, everyone. I'll see y'all in the metaverse.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Jen. And hello, everybody. Yeah, I'd love to sort of just go over some basics regarding sort of setting up avatars, as well as maybe setting up a basic scene for yourself as well. Now, obviously, the very first question is going to be, well, how do I find models, or how do I find 3D sort of models and avatars that I can use within my world? There are a few different options out here. Of course, there are ways of finding free 3D models with the correct sort of copyright and things like that that you can sort of explore and discover. There's options, of course, of commissioning artists to sort of create what you wish you would like to have, and then sort of be able to create that as well. There's a lot of different ways to sort of create things that you want to. One great example for avatars, since we're going to go ahead and start with
Just,
avatars.
just one alpha here. So soon we'll have our own marketplace where all of these assets will also be. Many of these assets will be available, and we'll start first with community assets as well, so that we can provide these on the marketplace.
Yeah, I think that's actually going to be really huge for a lot of artists, because I think finding commissioning work and stuff like that can be a bit hard. But when there is like a whole sort of ecosystem looking for things that they wish they can sort of bring to life, it is going to bring a lot of sort of eyes towards those 3D artists, which I think is going to be huge as well. But again, not everyone will always have the money to necessarily sort of commission people or maybe buy things at the time. So there are a lot of free options out there as well. Vroid Studio is a great example of that to sort of set up a full functioning avatar. And what it actually creates is a VRM file. So VRM files are actually going to be what you'll be using within Webaverse to sort of be your avatar. So here we have Cecilia, which is the main character for Webaverse. But for example, if I ever wanted to bring in another character that I say, for example, have, which most people might know is Feta, I'll just go ahead and grab that VRM file that I have created, drag and drop it. And as you can see, Webaverse will actually prompt you with a really nice sort of UI view of being able to see that avatar as well. And then easy as just clicking equip to self, you are now that avatar. And so it's going to be really sort of cool to be able to see people bringing in their own sort of creatures and characters to sort of represent themselves as well. And I think a lot of 3D artists maybe might find struggle in the sense of like, oh, I can create this 3D scene, but how do I share that experience with other people? And how do I share these avatars with other people? And I think Webaverse again is going to be a great sort of start to that. So yeah, back to Vroid Studio. As I mentioned, it does make that VRM file for you. And you can, of course, start from scratch, but they also do have some example models that you can sort of start with. So here you can see that I sort of made like a human feta just to represent what I sort of create, but in a more sort of simple human version. So one thing you'll notice, of course, is like the skin color is purple and hair and stuff. And you can, of course, get really groovy with it. There is a lot of settings. So I feel like it doesn't necessarily hold you back in the sense of, oh, I don't want to make like just an anime person. You can make it pretty cool and then sort of continue to build off of that character as well. So I'm not going to sort of go over too much of like the customization. Vroid Studio again is just a quick example of creating your first avatar to sort of hop into the world of Webaverse as well. But the main part would be to once you have your character created and finished, you would go up to the top right, export as VRM, and then from there you'll have the option to sort of optimize that and get that ready for your character, which is a pretty cool setup and a great start for anyone that is looking to hop into it as well. Does Vroid have any non-anime styles? So yeah, it is going to be a bit more toon shaded style, but that is where you can sort of bring the model into programs such as Blender, and of course edit those materials and things like that that you see fit. So obviously that is a bit more advanced, but again, it is just a great starting point for you as well. So maybe you want to know how to set a avatar that you have made as an artist yourself. What I would fully recommend is going the Blender route and using the public sort of VRM add-on for Blender. Might be a bit confusing with the different language text and everything like that. But the main thing you would want to do is, of course, just download the zip from GitHub. And I can go ahead and send this into the Twitch chat as well. And I can definitely leave some document for that in like the Create in Webaverse channel as well. But yeah, this is a great sort of plugin to sort of set up your avatar. I've seen users such as like Point of View in the Create in Webaverse channel. He picked it up very quick. And I was very happy to sort of see him sort of dive a bit deeper into that as well. But once you have that plugin installed, and say, for example, you have that character that you want to create, it is a very simple system, and there are a lot of tutorials out there via video. But really, it's just going to be creating that VRM model button right here, which will create a whole skeleton. The main point of that and using this skeleton is the fact that it will have everything sort of queued up, as you can see here, and mapped out. so that Webaverse and other games can understand. And of course, yeah, instructions on the GitHub are in Japanese, but there is sort of translation and stuff like that. But everything in the actual plugin is in English as well. But yeah, so you have that skeleton. Of course, this does get a bit more complicated, but this is a bit more pointed towards like 3D artists and things like that. If you have a skeleton, you of course want to get that sort of aligned with your actual skeleton of the model. As you can see right here, I have done that, which this avatar is a bit groovy. So again, all avatars are going to be different. But the great thing about that is, of course, VRM models work very well with being able to work with most avatars, as long as they are sort of humanoid form as well. So things regarding avatars that you do want to focus on, I think our major things are going to be things such as visemes, is what they call them. Visemes are things as such as eye blinking, speaking with the mouth as it sort of copies the voice and such like that. I can show a quick example. Or actually, I don't think I have Feta has a thing. Hello. Yeah, so Feta's ears move when he talks, and that's what I set up as a blend shape. Again, all avatars will be different, and you can really get creative with it. It doesn't have to be like a normal mouth speaking. It can be up to you, and that's, I think, another great part of that as well. Let's see. So yeah, Visemes, of course, again, all will sort of be within the Blender sort of VRM plugin. So this is going to be a major tool for setting up avatars. Now, there are other ways of doing it in like Unity, but Blender is an open source tool, free to use, and the plugin is free to use. So I don't think anything will come up in regards to that of interrupting you and using that. So we're always going to sort of promote that open source things, and definitely would recommend learning in this route instead of having to sort of find a different setup as well. Now, again, blend shapes or visemes or visiums or however you pronounce it are typically controlled by blend shapes. Blend shapes are used within Blender, and they are actually sort of called shape keys in Blender. Shape keys are really just a way for you to change how the model is moved. As you can see, blink here, and it's really just me sculpting the model and just bringing that eyelid down. So it might seem scary and complicated, but if you are a 3D artist, this is something that is pretty simple, and then you can pick up and do some pretty simple things as well. So I think it's a lot more fun. So here you can see I did the mouth a bit weird, just because I'm not the greatest at these things. But yeah, again, you can be pretty creative with that. But once you have all of that sort of set up, again, simple as just right click file, export, and export as VRM. Once you have that VRM exported, of course, again, straight into Webaverse, you'll go ahead and find that file. I apologize, I'm a disorganized mess, but we got it in here somewhere. Here we go, Drew. You just drag and drop, wait for that to load. As you can see, the character once again, and equip to self. And right off the bat, we are sort of right here and ready to go. So yeah, I think, again, avatar systems, I think will continue to grow, mentioned as like the WASIs and stuff like that. There's going to be a lot of cool things that are coming, I feel like, that will make it a bit easier for you to hop into creating an avatar that you can relate to. And again, always going to promote heavily that there are plenty of artists out there that can help you create an avatar that you relate to and that you want to represent you within the Webaverse ecosystem, as well as the sort of metaverse ecosystem as well. So that's pretty much basics for the avatar system. Again, it can go a lot deeper, but it is just a nice little walkthrough of the basics as well. Next up, I did want to go over sort of creating a basic scene. Now you can see I am in this sort of wild city-like scene. And this is what I've been sort of working on. It's sort of like a hub world. I call it the Fediverse City. So you can get really creative with these scene files. It can be game related, it can be art related, or it can just be experience related of what you want people to sort of see inside of your world as well. So to get started with a basic scene, there's a couple different ways of doing so. What I recommend, of course, is going through the user docs as a whole. It is a great start and it will cover everything. But some people are like, wait, I don't want to get into coding and stuff like that. And I definitely understand that fear. Coding is a scary thing. But with the documentation and in examples that are available within the GitHub as well as the documents, you'll be able to majority basically just copy and paste a lot of these examples that are set up and be able to sort of pick and choose from these sort of situations that you have or the scene files that you have created. So a quick example.
Yeah, I just want to point out one thing here that all of these things, which are just, like JSON files right now, there's no coding involved. It's just like declarative. But
Yeah,
we're slap a UI on top of it, right? So all of this builder tooling is going to get significantly improved over the next few weeks slash months. So there will be like a easy user interface, and we would not have to deal with these JSON formats as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And that's going to be really great too, because I think it will definitely help sort of the newer people get into it a bit quicker as well. But I guess it is also great to sort of understand what is going behind the scenes as well. And for those people that do sort of like exploring and discovering a bit more. Um, so I didn't exactly show how I got here, but here we have the GitHub for the Webaverse app itself. And within here, of course, Webaverse is open source and you do have full access to exactly how it is laid out and built upon. And of course, there is tons of history behind that of AVR and everybody else that has worked on this. So definitely 100% recommend just taking the time. GitHub does seem scary, but it's basically like you looking at your folder system in your computer. Just take a look. You see a folder name that looks like something you'd be interested in, go ahead and give that a click and just start exploring into it. A lot of it is sort of you're able to sort of pick up what's going on just sort of by reading through those files and things like that. So a great example right here is we have the scenes folder, and you're like, huh, what would be in here? Let's go ahead and check out. So obviously you would see a bunch of different names, and then you're like, whoa, that's a lot of things to sort of pick up. I wouldn't know what to click here in this situation. Well, great thing about that is that the scene system that you've seen there is actually all the scenes that you're seeing here when you visit app.webaverse.com. So say, I want to know what's going on inside of, for example, maybe the stage. Maybe I want to grab something from the stage. So here we have a cool little stage set up. Oh, actually, this is really cool. It's set up like a little movie. But yeah, so we see stage.scene here. So now we want to go ahead and go back to the Webaverse GitHub. Just look for stage right here, and we see stage. And from here, we can sort of look at how that scene file is laid out. Now, most scene files are going to go ahead and start with a spawn point. We obviously want to make sure that we're not just falling off the map and that we are sort of spawning where we want the users to sort of be in that situation. Now, the only thing that you would really have to change there would be the positioning of which you are in the scene. Now you're like, well, how do I get that positioning within the scene? Go ahead and just push H on your keyboard. That keybind might change in the future, or it might just be like a visual thing that you can see. But from here, you will have the option to see the world XYZ, and then from there, you'll be able to copy that to make sure that you are spawning in the situation that you want to spawn as well. Next up, for most scenes, of course, you're going to need lights. It will be a bit weird if there's no light systems in your scene and you're just kind of like, oh, I can't see anything. And obviously, lights are going to make your scene a lot more swaggy and groovy in that situation as well. Now there's lights as well as sky maps and skyboxes. Now you'll notice if you go through a lot of these scenes, they have some pretty groovy ones and some animated ones, and it really is sort of easy of picking that up as well. So you'll see night skybox here, for example. So I'm like, well, where would I find that, for example? A great way is just going back to the main sort of GitHub account of Webaverse. Let's up night. Oh, right there, night skybox.
I
You're
just
like,
got a
well,
pro tip. You can control K as well in GitHub to search everywhere.
okay. Oh, whoa, look at that. That's fancy. Yeah, there you go. So, yeah, a search box definitely going to be your biggest savior to sort of connect the dots of what you're looking through and trying to build as well. So, again, right here we have the night skybox, and we can sort of see how it's laid out. We have the textures for that, and then we also have the .metaverse file. Now, the .metaverse file is going to be a big file that is focused on, as again, this is another way of defining what exactly is that you're bringing into the world if it's not just there for display. Say, example, you want a helmet or a vehicle or a companion. It will need that sort of classification for the game to understand that as well. And like Ahad said, it might, of course, be within a nice, more easy to sort of view UI as well. But again, nice to understand what's going on in the background. So from here, you can sort of name things, description, and I guess it will, of course, will give you the index, and that's where the actual sort of coding or system is there. Now, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Webaverse is built upon 3GS as well as what was the other one?
Yeah,
Anyone can help me?
we use 3JS as a rendering engine, and we use
Mhm.
physics compiled to WebAssembly for all the physics calculation.
Mhm. And so with 3GS, you do have the option for the more advanced people to sort of get a bit sort of crazy. I've seen we have a couple artists sort of going crazy with like shaders and stuff like that. So any of the more advanced people can definitely sort of discover some of that as well. But I guess we can focus more on the scene. So say you want to create a simple scene. I actually prepared a simple scene myself that I could sort of bring into the world. Um, and again, you can go ahead and find public models or create your own that you see fit for your world as well. So here we just have a little sort of like ocean gallery world that I set up. Nothing too crazy. It has like little art stations that people can sort of go into and stuff. But if I have everything laid out in this file, I could, of course, export this whole entire thing as a single GLB and bring that into my world. But of course, you don't have to build that way. You can build in pieces as well. It's really more so about what you find comfortable and how your files are sort of set up as well. So when creating a new scene, of course, you're going to want to, of course, get some basic scene code. And you can find that here within the creating a scene document. And once you have that, you want to go ahead and set up another file. I'll do let's see here. So you can start with like a notepad, for example. And then you want to go ahead and copy that code that you have, the default setup here. And then you want to go ahead and save that as all files and then name it your scene. So fish gallery dot scene. And then you just want to make sure that you have that dot scene at the end. And that's just going to make sure that you actually have that actual scene file made. And then from there, you can start laying out what you want in that. One thing I do recommend people installing if they are going to be looking through scene files is Visual Studio Code. It does help a lot, and I feel like lays it out a bit better. You can have like multiple tabs and sort of it sort of gets it coding and laid out a bit better, I think. So again, here we have the basic scene. We have a spawn point. We have lights. And then we also have the sort of basic sky. And we also have the Cecilia VRM. So while that's a good example too, you can, of course, add starter avatars or avatars within the world just by sort of linking that VRM file. And then right here, we have the actual object, which is in the world. And if you're wondering what this scene actually looks like, we can actually look at that as well. It is actually based off of the block scene. So here we have just a basic scene, nothing in it, but it does allow you to sort of build off of it as well. So now you might be wondering, well, how do I sort of host all my files and get that set up? And that's where, again, GitHub sort of comes into play. I do heavily recommend sort of setting up a GitHub account. Again, a scary process, but GitHub desktop and just sort of just exploring a bit will definitely help you sort of get over that fear a bit more and sort of dive into it a bit more. So here we go. Now, obviously, you'll want to create different folders for what you're sort of creating, but I'm just going to quickly throw it in here because I'm disorganized, and that's how I build. So again, we have our scene file that we want to create, so we're going to go ahead and export that as GLB. I'll call it Webaverse Ocean.glob. Make sure that everything is good. And we should be good to export. Okay, so now that we have that 3D model, I'll go ahead and want to upload that to GitHub so that it does have a way of being sort of read or hosted online as well. So I'll go find that file. Here we go. Drag and drop. And commit changes. So from here, it will have to go ahead and upload, and that does take a second. As you can see here, it is uploading. But in the meantime, what we can go ahead and do, of course, you're going to want to do this within your own repo. But once you have a sort of repo made, I would go to Settings, Pages, and make sure that your branch is set to the master, set to root, and then click Save. And this should deploy a live URL for your files that are hosted there. So what I'll go ahead and do is grab that URL. And then I'll go ahead and head back to what the scene file that I'm laying out here. And I'll go ahead and replace that URL. Now, I'm still not mentioning the actual 3D model. So again, we'll go back to what I was uploading. As you can see, now it is uploaded with the check mark there. So I'll grab that file name. And we'll go ahead and throw that right there. So from here, that is a basic scene layout. We'll have what we had here in this Blender file sort of laid out here in the actual scene. But what I do want to go ahead and check is, of course, the spawn location. So a great way to test that is really just dragging and dropping that scene file you made. If I can find that folder. There we go. So just dragging and dropping that and seeing it where it spawns you. Oh. Uh-oh. So it might still be uploading. But another way you can check is just dragging and dropping that 3D model as well. So we'll try that. Drop to world. And as you can see, we have it in the world now. So really you want to just find a good position in which you want to sort of spawn. Maybe like right here would be good. Seems kind of vibey. So then again, H to open the profiler, and then you can of course see your XYZ here. So you just copy, copy the X, head back to SPA, paste that in, and so on and so forth. And just that make sure you're not spawning into the floor or anything like that. Again, definitely always want to make sure that you're checking your spawn for your scene files to make sure that that's all laid out and stuff. But yeah, from there, of course, you can get a bit more groovy with it, which I wanted to go over a bit more with Plateau as well. Things like vehicles, weapons, guns, and so on and so forth. But for the most part, it might seem scary, but I think if you just give it a bit of time and just like a couple hours a day, you do have that option of really sort of discovering how easy it is to sort of pick up as well. So yeah, to Plateau there, maybe we can go over a bit of what he has set up as well.
Yeah. I'm ready. Let me share my screen. Whoa. Okay, I'm sharing now. This I don't know if you guys can see it.
Your screen is still not up, Plateau.
Oh, because it's not up. Where it should be. Still not up because it shows.
Yeah, still not.
I can see it.
You can
I
see
think it's because it's he's using oh yeah, it's streaming.
Prop. Can we get a scene switch?
prop scene switch to Plateau.
Oh, interesting. Maybe here. I'm gonna stop. No, wait. I'm streaming. There we go.
Oh, there it is. It's showing.
Oh, nice, great.
Oh wow, what
Cool.
this is
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Platot. I'm a Wasi. You can call me Plat as well. It's pretty easy this way. So what I'm going to do right now, so I'm going to go through a little scene. Actually, we're going to take this door because right now we can't take it because we are too tall. So we need a Wasi right now. And as Emotional told us, these are all VRM's avatar, and they were all made with Blender with the add-on that you talked about.
Plateau, we lost you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm very glad that we're going to have the generative VRM collection because we've built some assets for this, and these are some samples that you can see. And let me take one for example. These are all VRM's avatar basically. So oh no. Nice. So these are all VRM's avatar, and yeah, they basically have all their functionality. So let me take this one. Let me take mine. What's great as well with the VRM format is that it's not only useful for Webaverse, but it's also useful a lot for other stuff, such as here I'm basically using this this avatar is the same file I have now that is used to VTube. So it's great. Let me just change one thing. Okay, so let's start. So let's go. Let's start in this little scene, and here you can see it's like as emotional told us, we it was designed with Blender, and it was designed as a scene in Blender. I will show the structure of this so that you understand, but basically there is some code involved, of course, to make the logic of this. The fact that you can teleport from one place to the other, and it can be a great example for you to study. And what's great as well is that the whole logic of the scene, I did not did it. I didn't do it by myself alone. I used a lot of what the Webaverse team has already produced in terms of game experience and so on. And I just copy pasted some code. I made some arrangements and adding the same logic. So let me go through the scene. The first the first level of this game is basically it's basically like Squid Game. You know, you have to walk, and if you move, you're dead. I don't know if you can hear the sound, but there's a sound as well. Of course, it would be more fun in multiplayer, and but yeah, for now, but the scene is ready, and in multiplayer we can actually make it work as well when it's when I'll be able to make it work. I could put some NPCs, but I had some problem with this, so I didn't want to make my old scenes crash. But yeah, let's go. Let's try to make it.
I believe. And
Of
then,
course,
so how is the game system set up? Is that all within sort of 3GS or?
yeah. It's all in 3JS. I'm going to show the file, actually the 3JS code that. Although I don't want to, but I'm going to show you the file it was used, and yeah, it's all 3JS. You have basically game states, and what's interesting is that you use 3JS to point to you use the Blender file to like to put anchoring points that you will use that you can point on sorry on the 3JS file. I'm going to show you the structure after this so that it's clear. Well, there's this other scene which is same. It's basically the idea is just like in Squid Game. If there are some glasses that are where you cannot just that break if you walk on it. I'm not going to fall it because if I fall through all of it, I would have to go through the whole game again. But yeah, basically this is it. And I don't want to, so you can understand logic. Of course, it's more fun in multiplayer, but yeah, the scene is built also to be played in multiplayer. So let's go to the other thing. Whoop. Okay, so now as you can see, we have achieved two levels on 3. So let's go to the third one. And so this one is as Motion told us before, we have we have guns, and I wanted just to show you like the gun system as well. So I took a UZ, which is a file. The UZ is available on the GitHub pages of Webaverse, and you can use it. But let's see. But the game is pretty simple. But it's really you can put some logic and make a little game. Basically, you have to kill this. It's like a aim trainer. Can I? Nice. Oh. And the last one. Oh, okay. I have to fly. I have to cheat. Sorry. And okay, and we achieved the game. Let's say in a sense, and. What I want to show also is the vehicle system, because I talked about the weapons, and these are the vehicles, and this is the type of vehicle that you can do with Webaverse. I can show you also how it's how it's made, but it was also made with the help of what was already done, which is what is great with Webaverse, that you can reuse some code and so on. So for instance, I didn't do at all the shader like this complex shader. It's actually kind of complex to do by yourself. It's like a language that's called GLSL. And but there are some elements that you can use on Webaverse on the open source repo. So that's very good. And yeah, let's take this vehicle. It's actually an air skate, like it's a flying skateboard, and you can go through all of this. And yeah, so here you can see how in Webaverse it's possible like to create game experiences. It's possible to create actually whatever you want because it's using this framework 3JS, where you can make a lot of stuff with it. And learning 3JS is very good if you want to make like let's say interactive experiences. And I think that personally for my end, I learned 3JS by making this stuff. So, and so it's a great way to learn as well to do it. Of course, it can be a bit complex at first if you don't know how to code it, which was my case as well. But you can learn pretty fast if you're dedicated and so on. And yeah, but this is of course if you want to make like experiments and the same this vehicle and so on. As you can see, it's not just a 3D model. It's actually it's using 3JS code to make the actual shader, so that you have outlines. It's using 3JS code to do a lot of stuff on this, and which is actually that for the people that are interested in knowing like how this is exactly built, this vehicle or even the weapon and so on. We have a workshop as well that is planned like in 1 hour or 50 minutes from now on the WhatsApp Discord if you're interested, and it will be about the very specific of how this let's say this skateboard is made. I will go through the metaverse file as well, because this is a way like to trade this kind of items. The idea is that this item can be represented like on the internet with only one file, that is the metaverse file, that basically points to all the necessary assets to make it work. And yeah, and so maybe now I can show you as well briefly how this scene is made. But basically, the various level of the scene, these are all here. In this first one, it's there that you have the initial place, and basically we put some empty objects to show the location, so that we will use these empty objects as reference points in our 3JS code that I can show you as well. Let me show you briefly the 3JS code. Well, let me go through the blend file and I go through the 3JS code after this. So yeah, so this is the first level. We can go inside it if we want. And yeah, and you will see it's the actual scene. And as you can see, the actual image, these are also inputted with code, which means that it will be able with this file you can actually put any image that you want, and you're not restricted to the image that I used at first. So this is also a point if you want to make like something like a gallery or anything like that. It's great. So yeah, let me show like the second level for. The first. Oh no, this one. Yeah, this one, for instance, where we basically start the game at each time. We basically spawn here and we drop here, and then after that we just go here. We just continue. Here is the scene with the Loom object. And as you can see that this object, I make it move with Three.js code. So you have the object that is in the 3D model, so you can place it anywhere you want. And after you make it move with code. So that's kind of a workflow in which you only have to have one big scene and one big JS file, and this is a way. So of course it breaks a bit of the magic of this, but this is kind of a way to build scenes in a sense, because the space is potentially infinite, theoretically at least. And yeah, and these are various levels, as you can see. Let me show you the code briefly. Of course, it's a bit complex when you see that like this, but let me change the window. We go up this one, this one, this one, and here. Okay, so here is the code for this actual scene, and you will see like it makes 700 lines of code. Of course, it's not like I'm not a pro coder, so I'm sure that I've not optimized a lot of this stuff. But basically, what's interesting here, I will upload this code so that you can study it and so on, if you want. But basically, what happens is that we have a function to import. Let me find this function to import the. Okay, so this is the function. We have a function to import the scene. That is there, that it's there. And after that, we will find all the elements that we want with a simple function that we can reference everything. And I'm not going to go through how this whole works and everything, but basically you have all the code that is needed for this game to work. That is here. I mean, not all of this I know, because for instance, some code is elsewhere. If you look at the scene file, how it's basically made, so as we know before, like you have the render setting, you have the lights, you have a point, you have the sky, you have the avatars that we see at first, so in the beginning. You have a mirror, and we have the water here. And here is this what's up is the actual file that contains both the codes as that showed and the big blender file. So this is only this, but this makes like a lot of the scene. Of course, you have other stuff, such as the vehicle, for instance. It's a separated file. It's not the vehicle that you see is a separated file. It's not on this, not on the big blender file. And you had like an NPC sorry also as well. So yeah, so this is kind of how how it's made. What I'll do, let me go back to the other screen. Oh, sorry. Okay, so now you should see. If I go back to the other scene, basically, I will be uploading my assets here, which is, I'm going to paste it in the chat. And yeah, and I'm going to upload this one. It's not uploaded yet, but I think I'll upload it by tonight or something like this. And yeah, I hope like you can, if you're interested, of course. But you have other stuff as well here. If you want to test some WASIs that we have here as well. Basically, this is the GitHub repos that I used to put my assets. It could be great for you if you want to see it, to see things.
Yeah, shout out you for staying organized. You're killing it with that. I fully recommend following his organization because it'll help in the long run.
Yeah, and actually, I like to do this because it's a way to also point to this object. Like, for instance, my whole scene, if I put it on this GitHub repo, after it, anyone on the internet could potentially just, use this exact one scene if they want. But yeah, I think it's practical, yeah, to have like this kind of formats. Um, and yeah, and basically, yeah, in the WhatsApp Discord, I think what I'll be doing is going more in depth into the actual vehicle of how it's made, and how to actually make a vehicle, like a custom vehicle, from scratch. It's kind of specific, but yeah, if you're interested, feel free to join. I don't know. I'm sorry, I wasn't reading all of the chat. I don't know if there's some questions or anything, but yeah.
Doesn't look like many questions, but I guess I have one. The way that you're organizing the assets in the repo, something that just kind of came to mind is, you know how you can hit tab and see your inventory? I think it'd be so cool if we could, for some of the things, be able to just like bring them with us between all the different projects, right from there.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it would be amazing to have this stuff. I thought that the inventory would be like initially I thought it would be like the your wallets. You know, like you have a wallet, you have like some NFTs, and the NFTs they like point to
In
some
one of them,
specific
yeah.
metaverse spot. I don't know. You
But
have
that's
different
only one screen,
inventory.
you know?
Oh,
You can have multiple different ones. So, like that one right over there on your left inventory, that's where you could maybe have like some stuff from your repo.
oh, I see. Yeah, it would be great.
Cool. So, Plateau, do you have anything else you want to cover?
No. Except if there's question, but if there's not, I'm good. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Plateau and Null. I'm sure it was good. So, what the whole purpose of this session was just to showcase to you that what we already have. We are still actively working towards um, finishing up many of the features which we have are not even released, and even the tooling layer. The kind of stuff which we're seeing right now. You might have seen that like Null and Plateau, they were like pasting some declarative code. It's not like they were coding. I mean, I think none of them are actually developers. Null definitely is not. Uh, but this experience is going to get like much more user friendly, because at the end of the day, the idea is that anybody should be able to build their experiences. And we will establish a frequency for these calls, and soon we will have some more exciting news to share with the community. I'm not committing to it, but hopefully next week. If not, then let's see. But by next week, hopefully, looking forward to at least sharing something concrete with the community on something concrete happening next. Thanks everyone for joining. We'll look forward to your feedback. Please do share your feedback on our Discord, and we can successively make these community sessions more fun, more interactive, more meaningful. So yeah, would love to have your feedback on that. And thanks everyone for joining us. Take care. Peace.
Thanks,
Peace.
everyone.
There you go.